everyone, today I'll be teaching you how to make these delicious churro cheesecake bars. I got the recipe from TikTok and I'm super excited to show you guys how to make it, so let's get started with the video. We're gonna begin by making our cinnamon sugar. In a bowl, add a half a cup of sugar and 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. Mix everything together until well combined. When everything has been mixed together, set it to the side. In another large bowl, add 16 ounces of softened cream cheese. Then beat your cream cheese until smooth. Now add a half a cup of sugar, a half a cup of sour cream, one-eighth teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and 2 eggs. When you finish mixing all your ingredients together, scrape down the sides. Then set your cheesecake batter to the side. Next, coat a 13 by 9 pan in butter, oil, or non-stick spray. We'll be using Pillsbury croissant dough in this recipe. Cook the bottom of your pan in the cinnamon sugar we made before. Then lay your Pillsbury croissant dough at the bottom of the pan. Then add your cheesecake batter. Use a spatula to evenly spread the cheesecake batter. Next, add a second layer of croissant dough. Then sprinkle enough cinnamon sugar to cover the dough. When you're finished, bake your churro cheesecake in the oven at 350 degrees for 30 minutes. This is how it should look when you take it out of the oven. When it has finished baking, allow it to cool for about 5 to 10 minutes. Once it has cooled, go ahead and cut yourself a slice. Once you've cut yourself a slice of churro cheesecake, go ahead and add your favorite toppings. I added strawberries, caramel, and powdered sugar to mine. This was the caramel I used. And this is the finished product. These were really easy to make and they were delicious. I ate like 4 of them. Everyone else in the house really enjoyed them as well. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed this quick little dessert recipe. Thank you guys so much for watching. Everything I used in this video will be down in the description below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye! Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you how to make the viral TikTok s'mores cookies, so let's get started with the video. Begin by placing 4 graham crackers on a baking sheet lined with parchment paper. Make sure you space the graham crackers far apart from each other. Next, add 3 squares of Hershey's chocolate on each graham cracker. Then add 1 large marshmallow on each one as well. Next, take some chocolate chip cookie dough and flatten it. I'm using Pillsbury cookie dough. Then place it on top of the marshmallow, chocolate, and graham cracker. Make sure the cookie dough covers the marshmallow and chocolate and most of the graham cracker. Then repeat this process with the rest of your cookies. When you're finished, place the cookies in the oven at 350 degrees for 15 minutes. Then let the cookies cool for about 5 to 10 minutes. Once the cookies have cooled, place them on a plate and enjoy. And this is the finished result! These s'more cookies are so good and make a great summer snack. They were also super easy and fun to make. By the way, you can use other types of chocolate other than the plain Hershey's chocolate. I've seen people use cookies and cream and Reese's peanut butter cups. Alright, that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Everything I used in this video will be down in the description below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye! Hey everyone, today we will be making Magnolia Bakery's famous banana pudding. It's pretty easy to make it and it's really good, so let's get started with the video. In a large bowl, add 1 14-ounce can of sweetened condensed milk and 1.5 cups of cold water. Beat the sweetened condensed milk and water together until well combined. Then add 1 box of instant vanilla pudding mix. Beat the vanilla pudding mix into your mixture for about 2 minutes. When you're finished, cover your bowl in plastic wrap and then place it in the fridge for 3 to 4 hours or overnight. In another large bowl, add 3 cups of heavy whipping cream. Whip the heavy cream until stiff peaks form. When you finish making your whipped cream, gently fold in the vanilla pudding you made before. Once everything is completely mixed together, set your pudding to the side. Next, cut some bananas into slices. When you finish cutting up your bananas, you can begin assembling your banana pudding. First, add a layer of your pudding. Next, add a layer of slightly crushed vanilla wafers. If you're making this in a big dish, you don't have to crush the vanilla wafers. Then add a layer of bananas. Repeat these layers until you've filled your dish or glass. Once you finish adding your layers, you can either eat it straight up or refrigerate it for a few hours and eat it later. And this is the finished result. I totally understand why this pudding is famous. It is delicious. I made a version of this but with homemade vanilla pudding, and honestly I think homemade vanilla pudding tastes way better than the instant vanilla pudding. However, instant vanilla pudding works just as well if you don't feel like doing all of that. Alright, that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Everything I used in this video will be down in the description below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye! So I had a lot of pudding left over, and at first I didn't know what to do with it, but then I decided to make some banana pudding French toast. I saw banana pudding French toast on TikTok once and it looked really good, and then I realized I had all the stuff for it, and so now I'm making it. Once I finished making my French toast, I added a layer of my pudding. Then I added a layer of crushed chessman cookies because I ran out of vanilla wafers and this is the only cookie I had. Plus, they're delicious. They work just as well. And finally, a layer of sliced bananas. Once I finished adding all my layers, I placed another piece of French toast on top. Then I decorated my French toast with whipped cream and some more cookies and bananas. And this is the finished result! It looks gorgeous! I really like how it came out. It's all pretty and nice. And it tasted delicious. The ingredients for the French toast will be down in the description. Alright, that's really it for this video. Okay, bye now! Hey everyone, today I'll be teaching you how to make slutty brownies. I saw these on TikTok and thought they'd be fun to make, so let's get started with the video. Begin by greasing a 9x9 baking dish with melted butter or non-stick spray. Then add parchment paper. I cut the parchment paper so it would fit inside the pan. When you're finished, place your pan to the side. Next, add brownie mix in a large bowl. This is the brownie mix I'll be using. Then add 1 teaspoon of espresso powder. The espresso powder gives the chocolate a richer flavor, but you don't have to add it. Also, it doesn't make the brownies taste like coffee. After that, add 2 eggs, 3 tablespoons of milk, and a half a cup of melted butter. Once you've added all your ingredients, mix everything until well combined. When you're finished, set your brownie batter to the side. Then, get some chocolate chip cookie dough. Now bring out the pan you prepared before and add 16 ounces of cookie dough into your pan. I softened my cookie dough in the microwave so it would be easier to spread throughout the pan. I placed the cookie dough inside the microwave for about 15 seconds, but I feel like that was too long, so maybe about 10 or 5 maybe? Once you've added your cookie dough, add a layer of Oreo cookies. Then add your brownie batter from before. Once you've added your batter, evenly spread it throughout the pan. When you're finished, place your brownies inside the oven at 350 degrees for 30 to 40 minutes, or until you can poke your brownies with a toothpick and it comes out clean. When your brownies are finished cooking, let them rest for about 2 hours. After the first hour, I took the brownies out of the pan and let it cool on a cooling rack. Once your brownies have cooled, all that's left is to cut them into pieces and enjoy. And this is the finished result. I warmed up my brownie in the microwave, then I added some ice cream and chocolate syrup on top, and it tasted great. The brownies were fun and easy to make. I especially liked the Oreo part of the brownie. All parts of the brownie were cooked, and the chocolate chip cookie part of the brownie wasn't hard at all. Which surprised me because I thought it would be hard, but it was really soft. Alright, that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Everything I used in this video will be down in the description below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you how to make TikTok cinnamon biscuit bites, so let's get started with the video. In a bowl, add 2 tablespoons of melted butter, 1 tablespoon of milk, 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract, and 1 cup of powdered sugar. Mix everything together until well combined. When you're finished, set your icing to the side. Next, open a can of Pillsbury biscuits. Cut the biscuit dough into 4 pieces. Once you've cut all your biscuit dough into 4 pieces, place them inside a baking dish. Then sprinkle 1 teaspoon of cinnamon over your biscuits. Next, add a half a cup of brown sugar. Now mix everything together until your pieces of biscuit dough are completely coated in the cinnamon sugar. Next, pour 2 tablespoons of melted butter over your pieces of biscuit dough. And then add the icing you made before. When you're finished, place your biscuits into the oven at 350 degrees for 20 to 25 minutes. Once your biscuits have finished baking in the oven, you are all done. You can go ahead and enjoy. This is optional, but you can make extra icing and drizzle it on top of your freshly baked cinnamon biscuit bites. And this is the finished result. These were so buttery and delicious. This one's really good. It was just so sweet and buttery. I really liked it. 10 out of 10 would recommend. Alright, that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Everything I used in this video will be down in the description below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye! Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you how to make the viral TikTok crookie, so let's get started with the video. Cut open a few croissants and place them on a baking sheet lined with tinfoil. I'm using the croissants from Costco, which are really big, so I decided to only use 4 croissants. Once you finish preparing the croissants, take some cookie dough and flatten and shape it into the size of the croissant. Then place the piece of cookie dough inside the croissant. Next, close the croissant and then place another piece of cookie dough on top of the croissant. Repeat this process with the rest of your croissants. Then place your croissants in the oven at 350 degrees for 18 minutes. Once the cookies have finished baking in the oven, place them on a wire rack to cool. And that's it, you're all done. And here's the finished result. If you like cookies and croissants, this recipe will be perfect for you. It's a really quick and easy treat. Alright, that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Everything I used in this video will be down in the description below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye! Hey everyone, today I'll be teaching you how to bake these beautiful apple roses. These were so easy and fun to make, so let's get started with the video. In a small bowl, add 3 tablespoons of sugar, 1.5 teaspoons of cinnamon, and a pinch of nutmeg. Then mix everything together until well combined. When you're finished, set your cinnamon sugar to the side. Now we're going to make our egg wash. In a bowl, add 1 egg and 1 tablespoon of water. Then whisk thoroughly. You're going to want to whisk until your eggs are thin and no longer thick and come off of your whisk easily. When you're finished, set your egg wash to the side. Next, slice an apple in half. The type of apple I'm using is Honeycrisp, but you can use whichever type of apple you like. Next, cut out the bottom stem. Lay one of the apple halves down and start slicing the apple into thin pieces. And I'm talking thin pieces, but not too thin. Make sure you do this with both halves of the apple. And this is what your apple should look like when you're finished. Next, using a piping tip, cut out the core of the apple. By simply pushing the bottom of the piping tip into the apple where the seeds are, you should be able to cut out the core. You don't specifically have to use a piping tip, you could also just use a regular knife or a melon baller. When you're finished, your apple should look like this. Now place your sliced apples in a bowl. Add a bit of water into the bowl, about 1/3 to a half a cup of water. Now place the bowl in the microwave for 45 to 60 seconds. When you take your apples out of the microwave, they should be super bendy. Next, you're going to want to pat your apples dry. Trust me when I say you do not want your apples to be wet for this recipe. If your apples are wet, the moisture from the apples are going to get into your pastry and make the pastry soggy. Once your apples are dry, set them to the side. Next, on a floured surface, roll out a piece of pastry puff. You're going to want to roll out your dough until it's about 13 inches long. However, if you want your apple roses to be a bit wider and bigger, you can stretch your dough out to about 15 inches. When you're finished rolling out your dough, brush your dough in melted butter until it's completely covered. Then cover the dough in some of the cinnamon sugar. Next, add your apple slices at the edge of the dough, while simultaneously overlapping the apples. When you're finished, fold the bottom half of the dough over your apple slices. Your dough should not completely cover the apples. You should still be able to see the apple slices when you fold it. Next, brush your dough with the egg wash we made before. Then sprinkle more cinnamon sugar until your dough is completely covered. Then roll your dough. When you're finished rolling your dough, make sure to pinch the ends of your dough to the other side of the pastry so your pastry doesn't fall apart. Now that you've finished making your rose pastries, place them inside a greased cupcake pan. Then bake your pastries inside the oven at 375 degrees for 35 to 45 minutes. When your pastries have finished cooking, they should look like this. Sprinkle the tops of your pastries with powdered sugar and you are all finished. This part's totally optional, but I decided to plate my pastries with a few apple pieces that I cut up. You don't have to do this, I just really like apples, so I decided to add a few more apples for decoration, and it went with it perfectly. And this is the finished result. I saw someone make these on TikTok and they were so cute that I wanted to make them myself. They tasted really good, a cute sweet dessert. However, I did make mine a bit bigger. They're supposed to be smaller than this, but I didn't want small apple roses. I wanted big apple roses. However, if you want small apple roses, all you have to do is shorten the width of your pastry puff. Alright, that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys so much for watching. Everything I used in this video will be down in the description below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye! Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you how to make the viral TikTok strawberry crunch cookies, so let's get started with the video. We're going to begin by making the strawberry crunch topping. In a food processor, add 24 golden Oreos. Then blend the Oreos until they become crumbs. When you're finished, pour the Oreo crumbs in a bowl. Then add 3 ounces of strawberry jello powder and 4 tablespoons of melted butter. Next, mix everything together until well combined. When you finish mixing everything together, it should look like this. Once you finish making the strawberry crunch topping, set it to the side. Now we're going to make the cream cheese frosting. In a bowl, add 8 ounces of room temperature cream cheese and a half a cup of room temperature unsalted butter. Then beat the cream cheese and butter together until smooth. Make sure to scrape the sides when you're finished. Next, add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract and then gradually add 3 cups of powdered sugar. Continue to beat the frosting until the sugar is well combined and the frosting is light and fluffy. Once you're finished making the frosting, place it in the fridge until you're ready to use it. Now we're going to make the cookies. In a bowl, add 1 box of strawberry cake mix. Then add 2 eggs, and 1/3 cup of vegetable oil. Then mix everything together until well combined. Once you finish making the cookie dough, use an ice cream scooper to scoop out the dough and place it on a baking sheet lined with parchment paper. Then bake the cookies in the oven at 350 degrees for 10 to 11 minutes. Once the cookies have finished baking in the oven, place them on a wire rack to cool completely. Once they have cooled completely, pipe the cream cheese frosting on top of the cookies. Then sprinkle the strawberry crunch topping on each cookie. Finally, add some sliced strawberries on top of each cookie. And that's it, you are all finished making the strawberry crunch cookies. And here's the finished result. These cookies were so good, they look amazing, and they were easy to make. They also look like the cookies from Crumble Cookie, which is super cool. Alright, that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Everything I used in this video will be down in the description below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye! Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you how to make these super easy strawberry pastries. First, cut a pastry puff sheet into squares. Then, cut the squares into triangles. Next, make an egg wash by whisking 1 egg and 1 tablespoon of water together until smooth. When you're finished, set your egg wash to the side. Next, place your pieces of pastry puff on a baking sheet. Then brush the pieces of pastry puff with the egg wash. After adding the egg wash, sprinkle sugar on top as well. Next, bake your pastry puff in the oven at 350 degrees for 20 minutes. Once your pieces of pastry puff have finished baking, set them to the side. Next, cut some strawberries into slices. When you're finished, set your strawberries to the side. Next, we're going to make some whipped cream. In a bowl, add about a cup of heavy whipping cream, 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and a 1/2 cup of powdered sugar. Beat everything together until stiff peaks form. When you finish making your whipped cream, add it in a piping bag. Then set your piping bag to the side. Next, cut 1 pastry puff in half. Then spread strawberry jam on one side. After adding the jam, add some of your sliced strawberries. Next, pipe on the whipped cream. Then place the other half of your pastry on top. Repeat this process with all of your pastry puff pieces. When you're finished, sprinkle powdered sugar on top. And this is the finished result. These pastries are really quick and easy to make, and they look super pretty. Alright, that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Everything I used in this video will be down in the description below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye! Hey everyone, today I'll be teaching you how to make these really easy red velvet white chocolate chip cookies. First, chop up some white chocolate. Then melt 1 stick of butter. When you finish melting your butter, set it aside so it can cool to room temperature. Next, in a bowl, add 1 box of red velvet cake mix. Then add 2 eggs and your melted butter. Mix everything together until well combined. Once everything is mixed together, fold in your white chocolate chunks. Next, cover the bowl in plastic wrap and then place it in the fridge for 30 minutes or overnight to chill. Once it is finished chilling in the fridge, scoop up some cookie dough and place it on a baking sheet. How much you scoop out depends on how big you want your cookies to be. Then, bake your cookies in the oven at 350 degrees for 8 to 12 minutes, depending on their size. When your cookies have finished baking, take them off of the baking sheet and place them on a wire rack to cool. Once your cookies have cooled, you can go ahead and enjoy. And this is the finished result. These cookies were super easy to make and they tasted good. This is great if you want a quick treat. Alright, that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Everything I used in this video will be down in the description below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye!